Hello, welcome to NAFP's June webinar. Thank you everybody for attending. Today, I would like to welcome our speaker. Her name is Chrissy Atwell, and she is a cradle board maker. What she's going to be presenting on is perpetuating monoculture through cradle boards, and she's going to share with us about her work. So I'm going to pass it off to Chrissy to share more about herself.
Thank you, Priscilla, and thank you to the Fiber Program for having me. I believe it is a true blessing to be able to share not just the knowledge, but our culture and kind of where it began for me. Um, it's been a blessing for me. I have been weaving for about 8 years now. My oldest, it's customary in our monoculture that we women make our first cradle board for, or maybe not the first, but it's our duty to begin weaving when we become grandmothers. So my oldest grandson is 8 years old, so that's how long I've been weaving, and that was kind of the same true for my grandmother. I'm the oldest of the grandchildren, and she started weaving when learning that I was uh, coming about, and she'd never stopped. So that's kind of, I feel like the same as what I've done. I've completed 42 baskets now, all cradles except this um, large gathering basket to my right. And I did that one. My daughter did a generational weavers documentary for her senior project. And in that, we did the baskets from the ground up. So she did the newborn, a full size newborn cradle. And I did the gathering basket. That was the first one that I did. And it looks really rough. But I was gifted this one. I was gifted this basket recently, and it's huge, as you can see. I practiced, or I tried flipping acorn in it, and which is what purpose is, and my forearms were just burning because it's big. It's really big. So of course I tried to mimic that and came up with this, and it's still tight because it's not. I feel like it hasn't got a shape yet, and I want to leave it out in the sun, but I can't. I can't always do that. I'm not always home. But yeah, I did. That was my first go of this basket just because I had it in hand. And I think if you take a close look at that, I think it's just so simple looking and just, it's not even intricately woven. It's just loose. And I thought it looked really simple, and it is not. So like I said, I've been weaving for 8 years now. The basket to this is a girl's double back. Um, this was my first. I gave this to my parents who live right next door to me. So if you notice, the sticks on this go up and down this way, and then from side to side in the back. So that's where it gets its name from. In mono, it's called the hoop, and a lot of times we refer to it as a double back basket. So this is a girl's design. It's a diamond. It's a diamond design. Um, One of the baskets that I have for my older daughter is a triple diamond like this. See the three across the top? And it was made by Avis Pumpkin. So of course there I get the bright idea to make the same basket, and it is not nearly the same quality of work, but it was my first, so I was satisfied with it. And this is my first boys double back. But the boys design is or the girls design is a diamond, of course, and the boys design is a V, like my gram referred to it as a chevron design. But it's just a V all the way up. Really simply made. Another mono boys design is just a straight diagonal, and both of those to signify a straight arrow, and then the arrowheads. So our boys become men who are good hunters. This is a doll cradle that we had visitors recently from a family from New Mexico. So I made that as a gift to return to them just for their generosity. This is a small gathering basket. This was made by my grandmother, Maggie Sample. She would just make little small stuff, and this she gifted to me. I was a Head Start director here for a number of years, and she gifted this to me. It was during the powwow. I don't remember the reason, but yeah, she didn't really need reasons really. She's just a really giving person. So she's got a lot of baskets. I've since I've been weaving, I have found probably 4 or 5 of her baskets across um, Central Cali. There's a couple in Porterville, it's a couple at Tachi, those different reses, and we're close. We have a lot of family on both um, reservations. Here's another little miniature, and these are not. I think the smaller ones are harder to make than the bigger or the doll size. This is easier to make than a mini cradle like we do at the SIBA events. We'll make the little doll, little miniature cradles like that, and they seem to be harder, more challenging to make than these um, fuller size doll cradles. But yeah, these seem even more challenging. I haven't tried making one of those yet. So the material that I have here, and we'll go through it in the video as well. But these are sourberry sticks that I usually have those just wrapped with yarn to keep them straight. I just store them under the bed or wherever, just so they're gonna be stored in a straight, flat place. These are shaved sourberry sticks. It comes and it looks, this is a red bud, but it looks similar to this, but it has a different skin on it. So we shave the skin off of it to um, have it become this pretty white. And then you can notice, probably not on these because my baskets are too new. This one is about 5 years old. And you can tell the color is a lot more yellow than this one, even newer. So you can see the difference in the color there, just barely, because this isn't an old basket. But the older they get, the more um, yellow they become, just as the sticks age. So these are the red bud sticks. That's what this is made out of here. And we split that a few times and get two, we call weavers, out of every stick. And if you can see how finally that's done, this is how I like to wrap and store mine. And I'll just hang them on the wall behind my stove. Um, but that's the red bud. These are all they're ready to go. They don't need any work done to them. And then this, of course, is uh, I like to say the grand finale of the basket weaving material. This is a white root, and it's not split yet. You can see this; it's round. It's not split yet, but you just split it right down the middle, and that is what we make the coil baskets out of. I like to use it to put my brace sticks in. If you can see this, this keeps it solid, and I think it keeps the sticks lined out and keeps that really straight. But the white root, this comes from, we have to dig this from the ground. It's just beneath the ground, and it's usually found by the river. Um, Usually on the riverbanks is the only place that I've seen it. But this is, gosh, this is such valuable material, and it's hard to come by. It's not easy to get. You have to know um, where to go and what you're looking for. And there are different routes that look similar in the same places. So it's kind of tricky. That one I feel like is the most challenging of the materials. And the um, interesting part of that is right now, I would say the places or the locations that my grandmother um, got her white root is private property now. So that's probably the one of the challenging things for us basket weavers right now is to have land access. So I know there's a lot of um, reserves, and we're looking for larger land bases that um, that has the basket weaving material, or there are some state programs that are planting our native materials. I know we've worked with Fresno State and the San Joaquin River Conservancy um, to to plant the basket weaving material between Bryant Dam and the 41 freeway. So there's a good land, there's a good space there that the plan is to get our basket weaving materials in there. And the foods that are medicinal food use, it's all, they're seeking input from the tribes to uh, get some things planted there. One of the things I wanted to share too uh, is a video. My daughter did a documentary on um, generational weavers. Um, a couple of years ago, she was asked to be a youth teacher for California Indian Basket Weavers Association. And of course, I'm just ecstatic with, I had all the material and got her there, and she just really took off um, with the teaching concept. And she's really good. She's just quiet and calm, and really peaceful demeanor to her. And she usually has multiple kids, adults, and elders learning from her that complete their little mini cradles. So that's been a pleasure for me to witness her growing in in this cultural piece. And um, we after I I I feel like I drag her around with me because I did the same thing with my grandmother. I would go out and I would be her billy goat to go up the hill or down the bank, and we'd be gathering till it's dark and just getting as much as we can and where we can. And so she's been my little billy goat. She goes and helps, and I think her favorite thing to do is to dig white root, and she's really good at it. There's a video in the documentary where she's holding a piece up, and it's probably 5 to 6 feet long, one piece of white root. So she loves to do that. She's really, really good at splitting red bud, and that's a knack that has to be acquired, I guess. Not everybody can do it. That might be the most frustrating part to basket weaving, is splitting the red bud and making your weavers, because if your red bud isn't fine enough, then your weaving and your work will look rough. So she's really good at splitting red bud. But it's been a pleasure to watch her really dive into this teaching um, concept and go. She's been asked to teach and for several events now. And so for her senior project for her high school, they have to do a senior project, and what she did was a documentary on generational weavers. So I was thinking that was the next step to acknowledging and supporting our youth teachers, is to do the same and acknowledge and support um, their mentors, their teachers. So she put together this documentary on generational weavers, which there was about 15 of us. Some of them, there was three for my friend Phyllis Hunter. She had her daughter and granddaughter, two granddaughters that are weaving. So they have three generations of weavers that are weaving at this time. So Jennifer Malone, again, she has her and her granddaughter. Evelyn Malone has her and her granddaughter Misha. Of course, there's Lexi and I. But there was about 15 of us. Leona and Mary Chipo. Also, I don't want to forget about Then Leona is my absolute favorite elder. She's made. I have a couple of her baskets that my kids were in, who are adults now. My daughter has a son of her own, but and I still have her basket. Um, Leona's just been a tremendous inspiration for teachings and just her presence. I think adds value to our gatherings and. She's been out here with us. We cooked acorn out here, I think is when she was with us last, but we had a full day of weaving and cooked acorn at the end of that day. So yeah, that's been a blessing to have Leona be a part of us to just share her knowledge. And she's a coiler now. She doesn't do things anymore. She's a coiler. I have seen all baskets. Um, does anyone want to start the video? I can see a little bit of it. We're going to start the video. I'll share what.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still not hearing the.
You want me to pause it?
Yeah. I'll see if I can get the background on my end.
I'll rewind it.
Okay. Hmm. No, that's not. Could you guys hear that now?
I could hear some. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Ready? Okay.
Yes. So this is her documentary on generational weavers. So this is the sourberry. That was when they were green. This is when they were red. And this is the stick that we get. So this is our generational weavers group outing. We were in Mariposa getting sourberry sticks. That's a sourberry stick. And that is on the property of Ron Good. He has I want to say 700 acres, and he does burns all the time. And the um, sticks are just fabulous. And he always welcomes the weavers in to collect on his property. This is my grandson. He's cleaning sourberry sticks. Those are the shavings. It makes a big mess. And that's the shaved stick, um, all bundled up and ready to be stored. We usually leave those and use the following year. We don't use them in the same year typically is what that's what I try to do. This is the red bud and it's almost ready. It is ready when there no longer leaves on the sticks. That's very green. I'm just cruising, taking a peek at what the red bud looks like, and that's when it's really green. That might be October or November. That is the gorge back Jose Basin behind my house. That's our ancestral lands, and that's the red bud after it's cut. So we begin. The red bud is what we split, Here's a little lady from out of the Walker family that are from Chuck Chansey. She split that. She split that red bud all by herself. She was pretty proud of it. But that's what it looks like split once. And there's Lexi. She was probably 10 years old when she was really getting the hang of splitting her red bud. That's Kaylee. She's a youth teacher. Kaylee Walker. She's from Chuck Chansey, and she's making her first full-size cradle. She says 8 hours of work in one small bundle. It takes a lot of work. I usually do one bundle a day. So these are all what I complete in one day. That's a lot. I can split, get in the rhythm of it, get in the flow. Those are all in a day each. That's Lexi's first red bud bundle. She did probably 3 years ago. She did all the splitting and bundled it by herself. So that one's set aside for a special basket. That I used to wrap them in 125 bundles because that's what it takes me to make a newborn basket. But I
Mm.
feel like I waste a lot, so I don't wrap them with that many in each anymore. Those are all in 125 stick bundles. Like I said, I don't do that anymore because I feel like I was wasting some. Those are bundles from probably 3 years ago. Just I like to color code mine. I'm a little OCD when it comes to my red bud. I like to know which. This year was all red and orange. Last year or the year before was yellow. The year before that was pink. So I need to know what needs to be used first.
Mm.
So Lexi included in her documentary the process of weaving white root. So that's what it looks like. That's without the blade. We have another picture of what the actual blade looks like. That's Walker family, I believe, all of them. Um, they had an outing here at the River Conservancy, I believe, San Joaquin River Conservancy below Friant Dam. Those are some of the tools that are used, some of the sticks. I like to use mountain mahogany, so as you're digging in the ground, you're not breaking any of the white root. So that's me getting ready to start a basket. I usually like to start with the prayer for the family and the mom and the baby, of course, to have a quick and safe delivery. This was Lexi's um, first full size cradle board. That's what she did for this project that she had going on. She did really well. Like we were just sitting in silence or put a movie on or have music on and just sitting side by side weaving. I didn't realize how simple your dreams can be until I was able to sit in that moment. So this is binding the basket. We're using red bud to go all the way completely around the basket. I like the way it looks. It kind of looks like a frame. Yeah, I like the framing that it looks like a nice framing of the outside. Not everybody does that though. Those are a couple of baskets. One of those went to the green one went to Thule and the blue one went to Tachi that year. So of course, she included the process of making the double back with a hoop basket. This one's a diamond design, and this design, Mary, if you recognize that, is Leona's design. I got that from that was the design that she used for Lynette's basket. And of course, this is a boys. There's that V or that chevron look that we talked about earlier. This basket went to Faith Burrows' grandson in Texas. That's the boys getting closer to the end of that back. And that's the binding of it. That's the finishing touch. Some people will put leather on the bottom of that where the red bud is on the bottom. Um, I love the look of leather, but I love, absolutely love the look of red bud and how that looks on the white. I really like that. And this is the girls. That's the one right behind me here. The girls double back. And that's the hood or the hoop. The first one I didn't use, the first um, on this basket, which was my first one, I used red bud. Now I know why we usually just use white root on the hood because it's a lot stronger and it holds the gets the sticks to. I can tighten it up, cinch it up, and shape my sticks a lot better with a white root. Bring my water bottle. So that's the double back completed. So the last part of that senior project, um, and it wasn't this actually the senior project, but what I wanted to conclude for her senior project was to have host the California basket weavers here at Big Sandy. And it was my goal to cook acorn in a basket for that event. And I don't know why I do that to myself sometimes, but because that's a lot of things going on. We were making the gathering basket and the cradle and gathering the materials to do so. We're having events for our day gatherings for our generational weavers. I had to collect the acorn, shell the acorn. Sandy Clark helped me get it grinded up, leach the acorn, and cook it all for the event, the Basket Weavers event on April 12th. So that's a lot of things going on, but we pulled it off. And the acorn in the end, I don't know that I'll ever want to make it in a pot again because it's a whole different taste. I feel like you can taste the white root from the basket, of course, comes from beneath the earth. And the deer grass deer grass has a strong, almost like a rainy day smell to it. And then there's the oak, the acorn spoon. I feel like and then, the taste of the acorn, um, with all of those things coming together, it just puts a different taste of acorn in your whole nasal passages, and it's just great. I don't know that I ever want to cook it in a pot again after tasting it come from a basket. So there's us cooking it in the basket. This day was done at home. I want to say this is where Mary and Leona joined us. There's the basket with steam coming from cooking the acorn with the hot rocks. And that's our finished product. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there's just some great pictures. I believe that was Stephanie Clark. Stephanie and Leona were the pros. They were showing us how to do this on that day. Yeah, so there's all of us, and there's our generations right there. My mom's the one with the headband on the left, and my granddaughter that's a leaching acorn. There we had Mary and Leona is a young lady and grandmother. Sandy and Stephanie, mother and daughter. Myself, of course, mother and daughter, and my grandbabies were there. And two of my girls were helping us to stir and make the acorn. So now this is a part where we moved on to the gathering basket. Yeah, we had a lot going on this year. And I don't know who told my boys to both have boys during 24, which is also Lexi's senior high school year, which that's another whole job in itself. Here's Jennifer Malone. She's just outstanding for her knowledge and teachings, and I just love the ladies and the women or natives that are willing to share what we know. I feel like people are starving for this information that we have, and I didn't believe it was culture for us. This was just a everyday living to go out and do our basket weaving and the material, and I didn't realize how much I didn't realize that was culture. That was just our day-to-day living. And so I have there's Phyllis Hunter. She's a little frustrated at the start of that gathering basket, that was super super challenging for me. Also, here's Devin. She knew what she was doing. She was confident in her in her skills and getting her gathering basket started. So there's mine. It's big and it's rough, but it's mine. So yeah, that's I'm starting to shape that basket. I was helped by Pearl Hutchins is the one that helped us get that started, and Sandy Clark gave me some tips and stuff also to finish that. So, like I was saying, I just love the teachings and the sharing from everybody. We've been absolutely blessed with people teaching us how to do these things. So there's Lexi. That's when she was 3. That's the basket that we cooked in. And that's Lexi as a senior, 18 years old. This is one of her senior pictures. Again with her basket. That's my silly grandson. He wanted to be, and these are just pictures of that are have been inspiring to me. But Austin's probably 6 years old and wanted to go in his mom's basket, so we stuck him in there. His feet are dangling off. This is Shawnee. She's my youngest granddaughter. She is 2 now. And of course, here's Lexi. She's in the powwow grounds with her double back basket made by Avis Pumpkin behind her. That's just one of my favorite pictures. And then here's Lexi and I getting our acorn out of the leacher. The It was just leached. This is my greatest inspiration. My grandmother Maggie Sample. She's probably taught me all of what I know. That's my grandmother, um, Maggie's mom, May Sample, cooking acorn in a basket, right where we're just about where we're sitting. These ladies are Frona Harris on the left and Susie Jack, her mother-in-law Susie Jack on the right. They're 9 generations of the Sample family. So here's Sandy Clark and Mary and Leona. Just a day of gathering and weaving with our generational weavers. Here's Carmen and Pearl. Carmen showing us a gambling tray, and that was on one of our days of um, our generational uh, weavers gathering days. And just a favorite picture of mine, the Sample family tradition. That's that big acorn. That's that big basket behind me, and the acorn, and um, just all of that goes with it. There's a oh,
Okay.
so
Well,
yeah,
that's
that was
that.
just really inspiring to me.
Great video.
Thank you. Yeah, she did really, really good on that. So I would say the last piece that I would like to share, actually, let me get a drink of water here. The last piece I wanted to just touch bases with, there's not a lot of weavers. We've lost that. That was one of the things that we lost during colonization. My grandmother Maggie Sample was a residential school, a boarding school survivor, and I've recently heard said that the boarding schools are the only schools in American history where the students are referred to as survivors instead of graduates or successors. They were not successors; they were survivors. And so my grandmother Maggie Sample was in that residential school. Or she attended the North Fork, the mission school there, and I recently I got to share that information with, or that experience with her. Um, she shared how they did everything they can to strip them of their culture. They went to the school, and at first they would come home for Christmas or holidays or summer, and then eventually it got to where they didn't even come home. Um, they were realizing that when they would go home, they would gain their culture. They would practice their culture and stuff when they went home. So they got to where they wouldn't even let the kids go home. So she would go. At first, it was coming home on Thanksgiving and maybe like a spring break time, and summer, and then it got to where they weren't coming home at all. So she didn't see her parents one time, she said, for probably 5 or 6 years. So she was in the residential school from 5 to 15. If you can think about um if you can think about how much learning is going on and how much identity is going on for a child between the years of 5 and 15. That's when she was in this. So they were really like orphans. There was no physical touch, there was no nurturing. They were just surviving. They were just barely being fed, not even the best stuff. They didn't learn, they couldn't practice their so the basket weaving, or her even watching her mother do the basket weaving, was, she didn't get to do any of that for those 10 years, those 10 critical years. So when she got out of there, I was wondering why my dad's dad is from Tachi. But what happened was she got out of the residential school at 15, and they were going to send her to Oakland. I want to say there was a job corps for our natives. Um, some of the other native adolescents went to Oakland, some to San Francisco, some, I know there was one in um, Nevada and Arizona, I believe. And don't quote me on those, but she ran away when they came to get her to go to the job course. She ran away, so that's where she ended up at Tachi. So that's where my dad's dad is from, was at Tachi. So that's where my surname comes from. But she ran away, ended up at Tachi. She ended up into, just, she didn't make, she spent the 10 years in the mission school, not able to make her own decisions. She woke up at when they told her to, and went to bed when they told her to, and had the routine that was set out for them. There was no decision making. She lost, that was taken from her. She lost her decision making skill. She didn't get to see what a healthy parenting looked like. She went to the boarding school from 5 years old until 15, so she didn't get to watch her parents and their parenting techniques and their nurturing skills. And they weren't a family, they weren't a couple that spanked their children. They talked them through their challenges or their troubles. And that wasn't the case in the boarding schools. They were physically, there was corporally punished. And so there's a lot of culture that has disappeared from our people. And that's why I say I feel like people now are just starving for that information because for whatever reason, there's a lot that don't, whoever, um, maybe the ones that went to a lot of the ones that went to the missionary or the boarding schools, they didn't come home and practice that. They didn't, where that's one of the things that I love and appreciate about my grandmother. She, I've done a history project with my tribe recently, and had a couple people, I've heard a couple of people say that she was mean, she was ornery. And I have come to really, really respect and appreciate that because if she wasn't the resistant person, the strong indigenous woman that she is, she would have let the um, weaving go. She would have not made my cradle board, and then I would have not made my son's, my grandson's cradle. So that's, I've come to really, really appreciate the resilience and the honoriness. I love that honor streak that she had, that she possessed, because if she didn't, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't have the cultural knowledge that we have today. And so she really, she's my greatest inspiration. Let's just say that. And I didn't make a full basket. I should have brought that one out here. I didn't make a full size basket to be used, and I did all the parts to it. I did the I would start baskets for her because in the end of her years she had rheumatoid arthritis. So I would start her baskets because that's kind of challenging, and I would do the outside. I would bind her baskets. I would connect the top to the back. I feel like I would do the brace stick. That was my favorite part, was to do that brace stick. So I feel like I've done all the parts to it, but I didn't do a full size cradle from beginning to end until I did my own grandbabies. So I didn't realize all of these years, following her around, I didn't realize all of these years how much she was preparing me for my own grandbaby.
Mhm. Wow. Just to give a little bit of time for audience members,
I
I
see
want
it.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely have some questions for you. So I want to open that up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fire away.
great video, by the way. I did want to touch a little bit about that work that you're doing with Caltrans, um, and how that got started and how it's continuing to go. Excuse me, go.
That wasn't Caltrans. There's a San Joaquin River Conservancy that has collaborated with the tribes to get the tribal input to plant and develop a place where we can gather our materials and to put that in, having an abundance of that. There's a lot of weavers in the area, and there's enough for everybody. But right now there's places that most of our gathering places are private property,
Mhm.
so it's harder and harder to get. Um, there's another. I want to say it's the River Partners. I went to a gathering recently in Modesto. They have I want to say like 2,000 acres or something. They too are wanting to do the same thing. So I get the information through the Sierra National Forest. I'm part of that group to where I just go to wherever I can, whenever I can, to listen in on these potential areas that are being developed for uh, to grow our basket weaving material.
Were you engaging? How are you listening?
I went to Modesto.
Okay.
And
All
the
right.
River Conservancy, I go to those as much as I can. Um, but those are right here by the 41 freeway. So it's a little bit closer to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of great work that you're doing, like within that local, environmental nonprofit there. That's really important, good work.
It is. I love being a part of it. want to get out as much as we can. And that where the Walker family was gathering, that red, the white root was in that San Joaquin River Conservancy area. Are there any other questions? I seen some comments
Yeah,
popping up
I
in
have
the
a question,
chat.
Chrissy. Again,
Yes.
that was a very good presentation, awesome video. I'm sure your grandkids, when they get older, they'll appreciate the video to be able to look back. Um, how many hours does it take normally to make one of those beautiful cradle boards and weaving?
Well, the newborn ones, if you can see that, the one that my daughter did, I could do that. Those are referred to as 10-day baskets. If I had nothing else to do, I can probably do it in 5, but that's 5 long days of weaving. And that's how I like to do. I like to weave for 12 hours a day. I like to start like at go from 8 to 8.
Oh wow, those are so beautiful.
Thank you.
Which one will you be showing at the SIBA event this year?
I don't know. I don't know if I'll take the big gathering basket, but I'm working on or I'm getting ready to start a newborn cradle. But I showed a newborn one last year, so I'll probably do the big gathering basket, being that was my first.
Oh, well, awesome job. And I really appreciate your presence and your presentation. And
Thank you.
I'll be sending your check tomorrow and your T-shirt for you. So again,
Awesome.
thank you. I really appreciate everything you've done today.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me and inquiring about this um, basketry in general. I love to share and appreciate those that share with me as well.
Hey, Chrissy, this is Mary.
Hi, Mary.
You showed a picture of your gathering basket. It's a Samaya in a
Mhm.
bathtub. And my bathtub, that's what my bathtub is for. I don't take a bath, I take showers. My bathtub is to soak sticks
Yep.
and baskets. And thank God I have 2 bathtubs.
We've always had to take a shower with sticks or
Yeah,
take the sticks out and take a
yeah,
shower, put them back
yeah.
in. And I tell my kids, don't think about getting in there and don't soak my basket again.
I
Yeah, that's the
know.
life of a weaver.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, Chris. This is Ashley. I just
Hey,
want to
how are you,
say
Ash?
I'm good. I love your shares. It's always inspiring. The history, all the culture, the breakdown, and the samples of like your bundles and how you do it year by year, and just kind of everything that you shared today was awesome. Because like for me, I haven't, knock on wood, I don't have any grandkids yet, and I don't see them in the near future. I'm on the 10-year plan, at least in my mind. But when I get there, I kind of have an idea of like
Mm-hmm.
I better start, maybe when my kids turn 20, so that way I'll be ready and
Yep.
have everything I need when they're 24 and have babies.
You will be great. Yeah, that's when it's time for us to weave, and you have all boys except for one. So yeah, you got a lot of weaving in your future.
But yeah, thank you. Awesome share, and I love your baskets. I love the history you share and all the knowledge that you bring to the table. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashley's kids and I share a grandma. So yeah, Ashley's gonna be a great weaver. And like I said, I make myself crazy sometimes with my the way I gather and prep my material, and I got all my stuff hanging on the wall and it looks good when it's done, but gosh, I make myself crazy sometimes in the process. Just like I have to force myself to step away from that to go to birthday parties or to go watch a movie, or just to go take a run to Yosemite and hike under the falls or something. I have to force myself to step away from this because I love it. I love what I do. So thank you, Ash.
Yeah, Chrissy, and I mean, it's amazing all the knowledge that you've been passing down to your grandchildren and just watching the the video that your granddaughter made, I mean, her knowledge base is just so vast, and now it's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, that's my daughter. She's my youngest.
Oh, your daughter.
Yeah, she's the youngest of four. She will be off to college here. We're going to do her orientation for she got a full ride scholarship to Fort Lewis in Durango, Colorado.
Oh my goodness.
So she just graduated. We got our graduation party coming up, and we will be shipping her off in the fall. Well, not even the fall, in August. So it's an exciting time. Absolutely blessed. I said, if she doesn't do sports over there, I'm going to send her with White Root so she could start working on that coil basket.
There you go.
I think she's going to be bored if she doesn't want to do sports. She's done sports all 4 years in high school and travel ball outside of that. So, yeah, she's going to be bored not doing either that, or she'll be able to take 18 units or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, she's gonna just meet so many new people and just exposed to different cultures over there
Mhm.
too. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, she's looking forward to it.
Let's see. Do we have any
Any
more
other questions?
questions in the audience? Let's see. Let's check
What
the
about,
chat real
yeah,
quick.
that's, I seen some things popping up as we were going.
Okay, so just to remind everybody, if anybody is a weaver, a gatherer in our audience, and they would also like to take this opportunity or take this platform to present, please stay in contact with myself or Fred, and we can get you signed up and on our schedule. And we post all of our recordings on our YouTube channel. So check that out and subscribe, like and subscribe, and then any new recordings you'll get sent notifications to as well. So, well, other than that, maybe we could just go ahead and wrap up the webinar if there's no more questions in the room. Yes, thank you, Chrissy.
Awesome. Thank you.
So much beautiful work. It's amazing. It really makes a lot of hearts happy seeing your work. So thank you, thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you from
Thank
Yosemite.
you. Thank you.
We know.
You guys have a blessed day.
Bye.
All right, you as well. Bye-bye.